Namaste, angels. Thank you for joining, liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Pisces, this is your bi-weekly reading for the period of tomorrow, October 21st through Sunday, November 3rd. Better late than never. You are last but not least, and I hope to do you justice, equally, at least, if not better than the other signs. I'm not here to shortchange you, although I almost failed to get your reading up in time, before the 21st with the others. Just because I had kind of felt like I was done, and not that I forgot you. Like I said, I just thought I did it, and then I realized, oh, I never did finish. I got distracted, and I never went back to the those readings. I did so many readings in general since Thursday, 6 client readings, the other 11 of the zodiac, my weekly love and general. So forgive me. You know what I mean? I may be burnt out. I don't know. But not too burnt out to do your reading. I'm ready for it. First thing I'm going to say to you is, like the rest of the collective, and like was shown in those weekly general and love readings that I did, people are ending chapters in their lives, or chapters are being ended in people's lives, and they're coming to a complete end, like it's karmic resolution. A karmic end, karmic completion. So we're not revisiting these things once they're over. And that may have Pisces a little bit anxious right now. Not in a paranoid kind of way, but just uneasy about some decisions either that you're awaiting or that you have to make. And all of your cards speak to something like that. So let's start with the one that most represents your energy this week or over the next 2 weeks, and that's the Seven of Wands in reverse. Seven of Wands in reverse really does speak kind of directly to what I was saying, like feelings of anxiety and uneasiness. And this is going to be important for you guys to try to get to the root of why you're feeling this way and what maybe you can do to cease to feel this way. Now, like I said, I think in a lot of cases, it has to do with a decision. So the action that you get to take may be to make a decision, or you may be called to some sort of action immediately upon receiving, word of a decision. That may lead you to what you got to do next. Hopefully it will. I think that also the fact that your ruling planet Neptune remains in retrograde in your sign is also giving you guys, causing you some difficulty in discerning at all times, like what's illusion, what's reality, what is something that I should be taking seriously, and what is something that I should be just letting an energy pass right now and not having it affect me, not being reactionary to it. So that's what this card is going to be talking about for the most part, like in a general sense, and then it gets more specific as it relates to the other cards. So let's say, for example, this Knight of Wands is in your position of work and finance. A Knight of Wands upright, for one thing, having to do with work, could mean that you're going to be asked to travel for work, or maybe even move, since it's sitting here next to what essentially is your position of love and relationship. But for the purposes of making these connections as to what's going on with the Knight of Wands and the Seven of Wands in reverse, I could say that this card is about walking away or moving, going on to something higher, like you're being in search of your soul's purpose. And so maybe even moving away for a job, if not just traveling, and the company's asking you to be transferred or something, and you got to figure that out. That can be a possibility. Or you're applying for a new job and you're awaiting an answer, because judgment can also be about that sort of thing. You're awaiting a decision, a judgment as to whether or not you got the job, and if you do get it, you have to what do they call that when you have to move? You guys know what I'm talking about. I can't think of, it's a word that sort of summarizes needing to move, relocate. Lord, I don't know why I couldn't think of that. You may have to relocate for a new or existing job, and that could be about what you're waiting for, a decision, or you needing to make a decision yourself. In some cases, you're waiting to hear maybe if you've been chosen, if you're going to get to be a part of maybe a group or to somebody who can represent the company, and you're going to be asked to take a trip and to, make some real deals or something. So that may have you anxious. In a committed relationship, this Seven of Wands in reverse, especially as it relates to the Eight of Cups, which it crosses, which is in your love and romance, may be saying that one of you is indecisive about something. Maybe one of you is indecisive about a move, perhaps because of your job. And so you're thinking, well, I don't know if I can go. We need to, figure this out. That brought me over here to the Judgment in reverse card. I wanted to finish talking about this one, but now with Judgment in reverse sitting atop the Eight of Cups, again, thinking about love and romance specifically, this could be some people that are in committed relationships needing to make a decision or wanting to make a decision, and maybe that decision, mulling it over, is about what you're anxious as to whether or not to move on, maybe walk away from a relationship. Again, karmic completion. And so it's got you, sort of twisted in the meantime while you mull this over. Major Arcana card Judgment for me represents the planet Pluto in the sign of Scorpio, so there could be a fellow water sign involved perhaps, although there's not necessarily any other indication here that that's the case. I think some of you may be waiting for, like a legal decision, a legal judgment, a dissolution of some sort of domestic partnership or marriage or something. Judgment in reverse with regard to work could mean maybe something is changing about your work or the company, the organization for which you work for, or even if you work for yourself, about you. So again, maybe there's a need to move. Maybe there's a need to travel. Maybe the company is restructuring and you're awaiting a new a decision about a new position that you're going to be into. Maybe you're not employed and you're seeking a job and you're awaiting word as to whether or not you got the job, or you're getting the transfer, or you're getting to, like I said, go travel or something like that. And so what you should know that Judgment, whether it's upside down or right side up, is about abundance that is earned, for one thing. So you should know that you've done in the past what is necessary to be accomplished, right? To be successful in this situation. But right now, consider yourself under scrutiny and like a microscope, and make sure that you're doing your best work. It's like, not the time to slack off, or to, I already put in the application, so now I can take off or whatever. I think it's in the bag. So make sure you wait it out until you receive the decision before you make any other moves surrounding the decision. And also, don't let them see you sweat. Like you're this anxiety. Get to the root of that so you can either take action or remind yourself that everything's fine, everything's gonna be fine, so that you can chill out, because that anxiety isn't conducive to furthering your situation either. It can manifest as other things. Negative emotions, they manifest in our life as blockages to our abundance. So things like anxiety, fear, right? Ego, pride, resentment, regret, all of these things can turn into blocks of things that we've earned, benefits that we deserve. So definitely got to watch your own personal energy. Overall, though, with the Knight of Wands upright in your position of work and finance, both of those areas should be good. Work news that you receive should be good. Again, as long as you watch your energy and maintain positivity, then you should receive that back. In terms of love, with the Knight of Wands sitting next to the Eight of Cups, there may be a need for some communication, improved communication that's going to bring you guys closer together. But other than that, the Knight of Wands is a positive card as it relates to love too. I talked at length about the Knight of Wands and how he often swoops in and saves the day. He is Prince Charming, or she is Princess Charming in my book, and can be a very fiery energy that comes to improve things and then, sort of dissipates after it makes everything exciting. Knight of Wands is a Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. I'm looking here also. I'm sort of jumping around now because I would have done this later, but I have 2 oracle decks here for you, and I have some cards that I chose. I haven't looked at them either. We're going to look at them together. But the overall energy for my fortune reading cards for you guys is proposal. A romantic or business opportunity is indicated. And I think that that couldn't resonate more with the cards that you have here. There's definitely a romantic situation where there's some sort of proposal, whether it's a proposal to further it, and that's what judgment can mean, coming to some sort of crossroads in a relationship and needing to decide where do we go from here, if anywhere. You know, some of us are going all the way, for some of us it's the end of the road, and so maybe this card, this 8 of Cups, can be representative of walking towards someone, or walking, you know, or a situation in your love life, or walking away from one. And so the judgment, the decision to which we come in that regard is going to make all the difference. But I do think that some of us are there. Something has been proposed, and maybe it can be literal. You know, it can be like, "Oh, will you marry me? Will you go off into the sunset with me? Not have me go off alone? Will you move on with me? Travel with me?" It definitely be the question for some of you. And all of that could have you anxious. Let's see what this card is about. So from my Keepers of the Light Oracle, your overall energy there is Diana, focused intention. And this card, too, is giving me fire energy, although there's a moon here, and so that's like water. Her arrows and stuff, it's giving me wands. And Sagittarius, first and foremost. And then maybe like a Leo, and then Aries. Even though she's like a war goddess, and you would think the Aries would be first. I'm just going by what I feel when I touch the card and stuff. And I'm getting, even though this is Diana, I'm getting Bridget, the goddess Bridget vibes and feels. And she's like this fiery redhead. And so that's why I said Leo. Anyway, also up right behind that, in terms of what I said about you guys looking for a higher consciousness and higher spirituality and something more motivating and inspiring for you. And that could be why you're anxious, or feeling like you guys are both anxious and feeling like listless and in a lull. With an overall energy of the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, it's like kind of being bored and looking for something greater, higher, more inspirational, more humanitarianist to do with your life, you know. Okay. And there's positivity behind that too. The 6 of Pentacles up right behind it is about balance and equity and fairness and love, being able to pass both ways in a really healthy way, and unconditional love and people doing things for others, whether it's our romantic partner or a stranger on the street, out of, you know, purely unconditional love, and because we're being generous, like without agenda. It can show up, this card for me, in the form of or to represent that somebody's getting some sort of assistance or furthering in a situation that they're looking, whether it's from the universe directly, or, you know, God has sent somebody to our aid to make our lives easier. That's what the 6 of Pentacles is about. So this is positive, whatever area it shows up in your life. But I got off of Diana, focused intention. So this is about manifestation. Think about what you desire. Set your sights high and expect the best possible outcome. So that's what I was saying here. Like, watch your energy, because if you remain positive, you're going to bring in these things that want to come to you. You may be getting over some sort of feelings of betrayal or backstabbing, but I got to be honest, it may not have happened. This could be something that you sort of manifested in your own mind. You created in your own mind, because judgment in reverse that's here in your surrounding energy. So it could be, you know, your energy perhaps, but it's more likely if that of a friend or co-worker or family member or even romantic partner that maybe you made some presumptions about and you rushed to judgment. That can definitely be what this is about too. And so you may have taken something the wrong way, misunderstood it, and felt that you were, you know, lied to or betrayed, and maybe that wasn't even the case, but you've gone off with this whole scenario now. But whether it's true or not, also behind that, I talked about Leo a second ago too, didn't I? I don't remember what I think it was with relation to the Knight of Wands. Major Arcana card 8, Strength, also shows up here to say that you can face any and everything that comes your way. So there is no need for worry. And normally I wouldn't mention this because it's upside down, but the Tower is the card that's behind it, but it's the Tower in reverse. You know, so it's like this too means that there is no need for worry. And I'm thinking that some of you may have created a need for worry of your own design that has the potential to become like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And it's not necessary. It's not necessary because you have a lot of good energy surrounding you. But I don't think it's your fault either. I think it's because, again, your ruler, Neptune, remains in retrograde through November 27th. And so as long as that's the case, there is the potential for us all to be sort of having difficulty, meeting challenges, trying to discern from illusion and reality. Because that's what Neptune retrograde does. And along with the rest of us, Neptune is about to be joined by Mercury. Mercury again goes into retrograde. It enters shadow on the 11th of this month and goes full on retrograde on the 31st, Halloween, in fellow water sign Scorpio. So we will all be dealing with a bunch of this stuff. I think as much as possible, if you have a decision to make or if you're awaiting a decision, if there's an action that you can take that you are sure of, certain of, without being presumptuous, without rushing to judgment, then do that. If there is any room for confusion or for you to be going off half-cocked and not knowing what you're talking about, then I would not act for as long as I could avoid acting. Not act at all, and let things play out. Or let the energy pass you by. Let it dissipate before you do that. Because you don't want to bring anything negative upon yourself unnecessarily. There's no reason for it. Because other than that, with judgment, again, it's about abundance that's earned. This is a positive card for you. There's good things that are wanting to come to you. Something maybe wanting to end in your life, wanting to leave. But I think that's okay for you. Even if it is connected to a job, because there's a better job here for you with the Knight of Wands, or there's an opportunity here for you for promotion, for raise, for advancement, maybe even to have your own something going on, your own business, or to move, whether it's literal or metaphoric, move with a company and maybe represent them. And your focused intention, your manifestation power is going to have a lot to do with whether that happens. Also upright behind Diana and the focused intention is Master Buddha, increased awareness. So again, this is you ascending, growing in spiritual consciousness, and desiring as a result, desiring more, being inspired, wanting more, a higher level of understanding, and to get away from low vibes. Also upright behind Master Buddha and increased awareness. I didn't even tell you what that was about. Deep connection. Trust your inner voice. Be mindful of the planet. Come back to Earth and stay grounded. So you do want to be mindful of potentially your head being in the clouds. Again, as a Pisces, with your ruler in retrograde in your sign. And what's reality and what's illusion. Lastly, upright for you, supreme protection from Green Tara. You are protected. Cords are being cut. Move beyond limitation and trust. So this is also what I spoke about. I didn't say cords, but did I say negative cords of attachment? I think I remember mentioning negative emotions, but they sort of go hand in hand. You want to be mindful of the potential for negative emotions to take over and negative cords of attachment to cause you to make decisions and presumptions, to jump to conclusions that you otherwise wouldn't, and that you don't want to, because all that does is come back on you. So your task, Pisces, this week and next week is to keep your head about you. Keep your head about you, because wonderful things await. And I think a lot of you want some of these endings that are happening in your life. And, because again, it marks the fact that you have successfully completed some sort of karmic lesson, and then it's done, and you're going to move on to the next chapter. Let's see what else we have for you for the masculine coffin. Okay, boom. This is another indication, like I was just saying, things coming to an end. Allow them to die a natural death, and for the energy to just pass without you getting all weird about it. Natural endings abound. Take care with your health. Like, don't let it turn you upside down. Don't let it affect you unnecessarily. Feminine, much better. Sun, open your heart to the enormous growth ahead. Exactly. Something dies, something new is born. From the Keeper to the Light Oracle to the masculine, charity, prayer and contemplation. So this too is about your manifestation. You guys are really strong in that area over the next 2 weeks, so make sure you keep your thoughts positive. Connect with heaven, ask and you shall receive. And lastly, for the feminine, Serapis Bay, Ascension, another indication again of your search for something more meaningful, deeper spirituality. Move, I say this is a card of movement. Move into your true self. Rise above the darkness. The light is here. Pisces, I hope that you enjoy your next 2 weeks. I hope you've enjoyed the reading and that you found it helpful. If you have enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you found it helpful, but you didn't enjoy it, whether you enjoyed it or not, if you found it helpful, give it a thumbs up too. And certainly if both occurred, you both found it helpful and you enjoyed it, definitely please give it a thumbs up. Share it if you think it'll help with somebody else. I appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel, hit the subscribe button and the bell button. If you'd like a private reading from me, I'll try to have the information in the description box for you. You guys can also hit me up at any time on social media. You know, just like reaching out to any other friend, I welcome it. I guess that's it. Thanks again for watching. Namaste.